Hey everyone, welcome back. Today we're going to look at simple interest. So interest is a fee that you pay if you borrow money from a bank. It is also an amount that the bank pays you if you put money into a savings account, let's say. And so the interest is given as a percentage for 1 year and is called the annual interest rate. So simple interest, I, is calculated as follows. I equals P times R times T. P is the principal, and this is the amount borrowed or put into a savings account. R is the annual interest rate, and T is the time in years. And so I put a little heart here, question mark. So you want to ask your teacher if this is an equation that you have to know by heart, or will it be given to you on a test? So example 1. Find the simple interest for the following amounts borrowed. So A, $4,000 at 7% for 2 years. So I equals PRT. P is 4,000. R is 7%, and we write it as a decimal, 0.07, for 2 years, plug in 2. And so we multiply that together, and we get 560. So the simple interest is $560. B, 6,500 at 4.5% for 10 months. So here I equals PRT, P 6,500, R 0.045, right? 4.5% is 0.045. Now we want the time to be in years, so it's 10 months out of 12. So 10 out of 12 months like that. And so we multiply that together and we get $243.75 as our simple interest. Okay, and C, $2,000 at 6% for 72 days. So I equals PRT, P is 2,000, R 6%, and the time is 72 days. So 72 out of 365, right? That's for 1 year, 365 like that. So 72 out of 365. And that interest is $23.67. Okay, time for some practice. Practice number 1. Find the simple interest for the following amounts borrowed, A, B, C, D. Go ahead and pause the video and answer that. Okay, we're back. So we have I equals PRT, so 7,000, 8%, 3 years, gives 1680. B, I equals PRT, P 5,500, percent is 0.042, and time 1.5 years. This gives us 346.50. C, 8,800, 0.035, 7 out of 12 months. Multiply that together, 179.66. D, 4,300, 5%, 89 out of 365, and we multiply that together and we get $52.42. So example number 2, find the missing amounts. So we have I, R, and T given, but not P. And so here, to isolate for P, we divide both sides by RT, right? We saw this in our solving linear equations, right? So R and T, we're going to divide by R and T to both sides. And so P equals I over RT, like that. So we plug in I, plug in R, plug in T, and we get 6,000 as the principal. Okay, B. I is given, P is given, T is given, but not R. So we see we want R on its own, so we divide by PT on both sides. So R equals I over PT. I 675, P 4,500, T is 3. Perform that calculation and we get 0.05, so R is 5%. C, I is given, P is given, R is given, but not time. So we're going to isolate for time, right? Divide by PR on both sides. So T equals I over PR. Plug in I, P, and R, like that. calculate, which gives 4, so the time is 4 years. Okay, practice number 2. Find the missing amounts, A, B, and C. Go ahead and pause the video and do that. Okay, we're back. So here we have P that's missing. So we divide by RT on both sides. So P is I over RT. Plug in I, R, and T, and we get 3,500. B, R is missing. So we divide by PT on both sides. So R equals I over PT. Plug in I, P, and T, which gives 0.085. And so this is the same as 8.5%. C, T is missing. So we divide by PR on both sides. So T equals I over PR. Plug in I, P, and R, and we get 4. So once again here, time is 4 years. Okay, so when you borrow money, you must pay back the principal that you borrowed plus interest. And so that total amount is called the final amount or future value. And so the final amount, A, is P plus I, right? P, what you borrowed, plus the interest. And so once again, ask your teacher if this is an equation that you have to know by heart. So example 3, find the final value, find the final amount if P is 6,000, R 5%, and T is 2 years. So we start out by calculating the interest. I equals PRT. PRT gives us 600. And so the final amount is P plus I, and P is 6,000, and I is 600. And so that final amount is 6,600. B, find the interest if the final amount is 5,400 and the principal is 4,900. So here we have A equals P plus I, and we don't know I. So we're going to go minus P to both sides, and so I is A minus P. A is given, P is given, we calculate, and so the interest is $500. Okay, C. This one's a little bit trickier. So how much was borrowed if the final amount is 7,200 and the loan was at 6% over 3 years? So this is what's given to us, A, R, and T. And we're trying to find P. That's what we're looking for. How much was borrowed? So what's the principal? So here we have I equals PRT, and we notice P is not given, and I is not given as well. We don't have I nor P. So just this equation alone isn't enough. So we're going to bring in our other equation, A equals P plus I. And we're going to isolate I. So go minus P to both sides. So I equals A minus P. And so now this I here, we're going to substitute it for A minus P. Right? So I is A minus P. So I is A minus P, like that. We're going to go plus P to both sides, so we get A equals P plus PRT. Now A is known, plug that in. R is known, and T is known. And so we get 7,200 equals P plus 0.18 P. And so we can add these together, right? This is 1 apple plus 0.18 apple, which gives 1.18 P, like that. So 7,200 equals 1.18 P. And from our solving linear equations, right, we want P on its own. So we're going to divide both sides by 1.18. And so P is now on its own. We perform that division and we get $6,101.69. And so that is the principal that was borrowed. Okay, practice number 3. So A, B, C, D, E. I'm going to read the questions with you. Find the final amount if P is given, R and T is given, like that. B, find the final amount if P, R, and T are given. C, find the interest rate if the final amount is given and the principal is given. D, how much was borrowed if the final amount is given, the loan was at this interest rate over this much time? And E, how much was borrowed if the final amount is given here and the loan was at this interest rate over this much time? So go ahead and pause the video and answer these questions. Okay, A, I equals PRT, plug in PRT and we get 630. A is P plus I, so P is 4,500 plus I 630 gives 5130 as that amount. B, I equals PRT, plug in P, R, and T, right? 106 days is 106 out of 365, and so that interest is 1742. And so the final amount is P plus I, so 1,000 plus the interest rate gives 1,017.42. And C, A is given, P is given, what is the interest? So A equals P plus I. Isolate for I, so go minus P on both sides. So I equals A minus P. Plug in A, plug in P, interest is $400. Okay, D. A is given, R is given, T is given, and we want to find out what the value of P is. So once again, I equals PRT. We don't have I and we don't have P, so we need to do something here. And so we're going to replace I with A minus P like we did last time, plus P on both sides, so A equals P plus PRT. Plug in R, plug in T, plug in A, like that. So we got P plus 0.104P. This adds to 1.104p, like that. Then we divide by 1.104 on both sides, which gives us our principal of 7,518 and 12 cents. And we're going to do the same thing for question number E here. A is given, R is given, T. So we're replacing I with A minus P, plus P to both sides like that. Plug in R, plug in T. So we get 7,800 equals P plus 0.2p. This gives 1.2p. Divide by 1.2 on both sides, and so P is $6,500. And that's it. It's that easy. I'll see you guys in the next video.